Okay, if sine of theta is equal to 5 over 13, what are the possible values of cos theta and tan theta? This is quite an interesting question. First of all, we know a relationship between sine and cosine now using Pythagoras. So cos squared of theta plus sine squared of theta is equal to 1. So this would imply that cos squared of theta is equal to 1 minus sine squared of theta. That's always true. So that would imply that cos squared of theta is equal to 1 minus 5 over 13 squared. That makes sense? I think so. So let's work this out. This is equal to, okay, so it would be 1 minus 25 divided by 13 squared, so that's 169, I think. So this would be equal to 169 minus 25 actually turns out to be 144 divided by 169. Okay. Now, at this point, I definitely want to take a square root, but let's remember cos can potentially be negative. And in fact, I've got to be really careful about this. I'm going to draw a little unit circle to make sure I can really see what's happening. So remember, sine is the y-coordinate. Sine is the y-coordinate. And what we're really doing here is, so what have we got? We've got kind of my x, got my y, and we're looking at positions where what? Well, sine is 5 over 13, so that's kind of somewhere like this. So this would be y is equal to 5 over 13. So that's sine, right? But what about cos? Well, there are two possibilities, aren't there, for the position? You could either be over here, or you could be over here. And thankfully, it's not ridiculously difficult, because cosine, these are positive and negative of each other, right? One is positive of the other, or negative of the other. So that's being picked up with the algebra here. You see, cos squared is equal to this 144 over 169. So if I take the square root, well, I could be negative, and I actually can be negative, you can see from this picture. So cos of theta has to be equal to either plus or minus, well, the square root of this, 144 divided by 169, but thankfully, square root of 144 is 12, square root of 169 is 13. This is plus minus 12 over 13. And the negative can happen, of course, because it would correspond to being over here, and here's where the positive happens. So these are the possibilities. What about tangent? Well, tangent now is sine divided by cos. You've got two options. Tangent of theta could be equal to sine divided, it could be 5 over 13 divided by, well, the positive option is 12 divided by 13, or it could be 5 over 13 divided by the negative option. That's a possibility, and that would correspond to this case over here. Either way around, this is equal to what? 5 over 12. Well, it's plus minus 5 over 12, isn't it? Neat. So it's very careful. We know that there are kind of two possible values of cos because of the unit circle, and they're being picked up by the algebra when we do this square root business, because it could be plus or minus.